Lynn, Tucker Carnivore.
And Ribeye Ranger, Jim.
And today we're going to give you a little peek into the follow-up appointment that Ribeye Ranger had with his orthopedic surgeon, our new friend, actually.
Yeah, we'll just call him Dr. V. How about that?
Yeah.
Anyway, today's October 14, 2024, and yesterday marked the second year anniversary of my brand new knee. It's still under warranty. Woo!
Party down.
Actually, it's working fine, and it's still under warranty. And I thought, you know what? Let's just go get a fresh X-ray, make sure everything's seated properly the way it's supposed to be. And of course, he was more than happy to see me because it was a great office visit for him. And
it was a way for us to check up on him, but he didn't know that.
That's right. Actually, that was my whole plan from the beginning.
Oh, sure.
Because, just to refresh the memory or tell some new people here, I had my knee replaced in 2022, and I went for 6 or 7 months trying to rehab, and I had my aching joints were just terrible. It was chronic aching joints, not just my knee joint either.
What complicated it was he recovered so well. He could bend it way better than anybody else, way faster, extend it way better than anybody else, and way faster. And he was showing signs of just such great recovery that nobody could figure out what was the problem.
Right.
And it was aching.
I was just having trouble getting around, and you don't want to just say, oh, all my joints hurt, because you sound like a whiner or a little old man. Yeah. And I didn't want to be either one. So I thought, all right, well, I'll just tough this out. Anyway, I was looking up arthritis on YouTube one day, trying to figure out what's wrong with my own body. My knee was doing fine. It was rehabbing just fine. So I went on YouTube and I started typing in arthritis, old guys, 65-year-old, all that stuff. And Kerry Mann's video, the Healing Humanity Hero, Mr. Kerry Mann, his video popped up, and it was his
Thank you, knee.
Yeah, there you go. That's a positive thing that came out of that surgery. So I saw Kerry Mann's video where he said he only ate meat for 30 days, and here's what happened. And the changes in him were remarkable. If you haven't seen that video, you've just got to go watch this.
It's
amazing.
A wonderful introduction into a person's life that experienced this explosion of health. And you can see it on his face. You can hear it in his words. Everything is so unique and real, and just from the heart.
Well, speaking of the heart, he had heart issues. Kerry Mann had a heart murmur for life. He had
congestive heart failure.
Congestive heart failure. That's right. He was obese. He was pre-diabetic.
IBS.
He had
depression, anxiety,
and
he was a mess.
He was a mess. But he didn't just say he had it. He holds up this bin of 25 prescription bottles. This poor guy was on all of these, and none of them had worked to help him. He found his way to the carnivore diet, and he made this video just to share his experience with other people.
Right.
Anyway, I'm very fortunate I saw that video, and that got me started on the carnivore diet.
Kerry was talking so much about Dr. Barry that we started tuning into him.
Right,
and of course,
Dr. Ken Berry.
Dr. Barry Finger.
This is Dr. Ken Berry with Kerry Mann.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
big day that was.
That was a big day, yeah. So I thought, okay, so that was June 23rd of 2023. I decided that after seeing Kerry's video, I decided I'm going carnivore, and I told Lynn, I said, I'm just going to try for 30 days. I don't know if it'll work or not, but the science seems to be there. The logic seems to be there. I started on June 28th, 2023.
Yeah.
I started the carnivore diet in earnest. And I told Lynn I'm going to go for 30 days, and she said, okay, that's fine. I said, I'll just eat whatever meat we have in the house. We'll just buy some hamburgers to make it affordable. Hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever we could afford.
Right.
And so we decided to go down that path.
You know, July 4th came right after that, and we had a party at our friend's house, and I didn't want to miss out on that last brownie. So I came in July 5.
Anyway, on the carnivore diet, as many of you know, or most of you know, you don't eat fruits, you don't eat vegetables, you don't eat pasta, you don't eat breads. I'm sorry, honey.
Because you don't need them.
Your body doesn't need them, and they are pro-inflammatory to your metabolism.
They are.
So, catching back up to Dr. V. So I decided after all this time on the carnivore diet, I was doing so well. During my initial rehab and during one of my scheduled visits during the first 6 months, I dropped back in and visited him. And I said, you know, Doc, my knee's feeling good, but here's what I've tried. And actually, it was like 4 months into Carnivore. I met him and he says, wow, you look like you lost 25 or 30 pounds. I said, very good, Doc, I lost 25. He says, how'd you lose that in 4 months? Did you starve yourself? I said, no. I said, I eat more than I can handle. I said, I eat till I'm comfortably stuffed. I only eat a couple meals a day and I feel great. And I was able to put on a little bit of muscle and everything was fine. He says, this is amazing. You got to tell me about it. So this is an orthopedic surgeon, a modern day orthopedic surgeon, asking his patients about his nutritional behavior, what I eat.
It's remarkable.
So he showed interest, and I said, I'm so glad you asked, because my lovely bride here created something we call a Carnivore resource card, and it lists all the doctors. So when you have a brief conversation with somebody, you just hand them one of these cards because you don't want to take up their whole afternoon. You hand them one of these cards and say, just look these guys up on YouTube.
I mean, look up their expertise and how it fits in with you,
Right.
research their name, and then research your issue.
Dude, I gave him one of these Carnivore resource cards, and because his time is so valuable and office visits are so short, I gave him the Reader's Digest abbreviated version of the Carnivore diet, and he said, that really sounds interesting. I'd really like to try it. Well, I know he had to get to the next patient, so I was thinking that was a very polite blow-off. If he's just going to, and I don't know, I didn't really know him before this anyway.
But he also said to you that I can see how this could help my patients because I keep telling them to lose weight before they, can have their knee replaced or their hip replaced or whatever it is they need. And if they could do this and heal like you have,
I said,
and it
Doc,
wasn't hard.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to give you this, because I wish I would have known how to lose weight before my surgery. Because for those who are new here, I lost a total of 50 pounds. I went in at 205.
Wasn't it like 5 or 6 months?
And I was out of shape. Yeah, 5 or 6 months without working out. Don't work out, I'm telling you. If you enjoy working out and that's your thing, that's wonderful. But if you're just starting this and you're just unhealthy and you don't feel good, don't feel you have to go work out at a gym at all.
Because there's going to come a time and your mind is going to say, I look better. I feel better.
Yeah.
I want to be strong.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're like, yes, I want to lift weights. And then you get these really great arms.
But I'm telling you, but that just
it works so easy.
That happens later.
Yes.
So I told the doctor, and I said, it's a great idea. I'm sure you advise patients to lose some weight if they can before surgery, or if you're considering surgery. And I know, actually, I've had some other conversations where they say sometimes obesity prevents a surgery that might help them, a knee surgery, a shoulder surgery, something, because they're just not in good shape at all. So he was interested, actually. And I was only kidding about pretending he's not interested. He was actually interested. He was very nice about it.
It was really an eye-opener.
During the early meetings. I came home and told Lynn, because she wasn't at that appointment.
I'm like, what happened?
What happened? Said, are you kidding me?
Did you tell him?
He really asked? Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
So anyway, so now we're going to fast forward, because I had a couple of other appointments, and I said, how you doing? The beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. He says, oh, I'm trying. I'm working on it. And that was the extent. So I thought, I'm not going to push it. This man's a professional. He has the information.
But he also allowed us to have pictures taken of your knee when he took the video, or when he did the actual surgery. And so we had his personal
phone
number. And of course, I did not abuse it. But I did send, doctor stuff, or pictures of, our reference card again.
On rare occasions.
Very rare. And
but it was very nice. He gave her his phone number before I came out of recovery. When you sign up, he says, look, if you're concerned at all about him, I want you to go ahead and text me and call me, because I'll give you updates as best I can.
I said, I will not abuse this.
Okay,
and I didn't.
So we went back this past week, near my second anniversary. And we walked in there, and he's just great. And he looks at me and says, man, you look really great. He says, I got to be honest with you guys. And of course the door was closed, so it's private. He says, I got to be honest with you. I've tried it several times to get started. He says, I need help. 3 words you've never heard from a doctor, guaranteed. He says, I need help? Honestly, I need help. He said, and here's why. I know. It was like I should have put him sitting on the table with his feet dangling, and I should have put the stethoscope on. And yes, how can we help you today? No, but he says, I need help. He says, here's my problem. He is such a busy, popular doctor that he says, I'm out the door about 7 in the morning and I don't get back until 8 or 9 at night. He says, but when I leave, I go straight to work and I just get going. He says, and then by the time I think about eating after my first or second surgery, it's 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I go into the doctor's lounge and all the
hamburgers are taken.
All the healthy food, the hamburgers, are gone.
It's closed for lunch.
He says, so I got to eat something. He says, I'm on this treadmill. I can't figure out how to really get started in this and get. A doctor is asking us. I'm not kidding, folks.
And I'm sitting there thinking, so breakfast kind of went,
yeah,
and you didn't even think of that because. Really, Doc, you need to have, I don't care if your wife makes it for you or you make it the night before. Yeah. I eat it cold on the way. I mean, Carrie Mann eats cold hamburgers.
And
why can't you?
He's not the only one. We've seen a lot of YouTube. They say it's just so much easier to prepare several things ahead of time and just throw them in a baggie and
chomp on them on the way.
And you head out.
He goes, well, I'm not really one to bring like a sack lunch to work or whatever. And I go, I totally understand. I wouldn't want to either. But if that's the only way you can get breakfast in you, you need some protein in there. So, you need as many eggs as you can eat and as many hamburgers patties as you can eat. And that will take you to 5 o'clock at night or 7. I guarantee it. And then you go home and you eat a big old whipping ribeye.
The last thing I said on the way out is... the last thing I said to him was, Doc, and I gave him a serious look and I says, you have to take some hard medicine.
And I went, Doctor, heal thyself.
She really did. Funny. He laughed.
I know.
I said, the hard medicine is, you got to eat breakfast. This is the only way around your problem. If you need to get up earlier, but by God, you got to get some protein in you. Protein and fat, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, plenty of eggs, whatever, like Lynn said, a burger, 2 burgers, and some eggs. Ask your wife to help you out.
Exactly. How do you expect your body to go through all that? And we're talking complicated surgeries here too. Yeah. And then you're just, wiped out. I mean, how can you do that to yourself? I mean, you have to get to be an accomplished, semi-accomplished carnivore to be able to do a 1 meal a day to begin with, or have an extensive amount of thickness to work with. You're on yourself. He doesn't. He's not that far overweight at all. I don't think at all.
He's a little overweight, but he's not obese. Yeah. But you could tell that he really wants to feel better, because every time I go in, every time I've been in so far, he's just amazed at the energy I have, and he confided in me. I'm turning 67 tomorrow, October 15th. So I'm 67, and when we got started, he says, I'm about the same age as you, and I had my own knee replaced. Yeah. To which I replied, can I have the name of your surgeon?
Because obviously if you trust him.
If he's good enough for you. Anyway, so that didn't go over well. That didn't get a laugh at that point. So,
no. And we kind of culminated the whole thing by me saying, I will send you the link to Dr. Barry's guidebook, which is www.drbarry.com/guidebook.
Right. And
it's free.
This is funny because she literally said everything she just said verbatim. And then on the way out, he says, hey, Lynn. And she turns around and he says, could you text me that information?
Isn't that cool?
A doctor.
I know.
He knows she has his private phone number. Could you text me that information? So that's what told me this guy's really serious. He really wants to try it out.
I'm so shocked.
And of course, we'll give you updates if they become available, but I'm not really planning to go back to the doctor anytime soon. If I do, it will only be to follow up on him. I think I got time for one more health update.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an
important one. This is a good one.
So one of the carnivore friends we make, and I call them friends whether I've met them face to face or not.
Right.
Because you see so much of each other on YouTube, those of us willing to share, guys like this, who are willing to talk about their journeys. We met a guy online named Carnivore at 60. His name is Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
And Michael happens to be in San Diego, California, where I was born and raised.
And when he talks about different places in San Diego, we're like, we know exactly where that is. Oh, that's right up by the Denny's.
Because for those that don't know, we're in Texas right now. We moved to Texas a long time ago, and we're very happy to be here. But so Michael, he released a video today, and I watched it first thing this morning, and it's a great recap of all the problems he's had. This guy's lost 169 pounds?
It's huge.
169 pounds.
And healed so many things.
And
and can walk again.
Oh my gosh. And he couldn't walk. He got injured in Iraq. He had an entrapped nerve. He had a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was exaggerating. For 12 or 13 years, he spent most of his life lying on his left side because he could not motate. He couldn't get up.
And it hurt so bad.
He was in pain. This guy went carnivore. He had diabetes, type 2 diabetes. He had all these other things wrong with him. He was on prescriptions and none of them helped. He was depressed. This guy was this close to taking his own life.
Yeah. And his before and afters are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
guy.
What really sparked both of our interests, especially Jim's, is the fact that he did so much extensive research on fasting.
Yes.
And Jim had neuropathy in his feet and went to a neurologist, couldn't find a thing. And we're doing follow-up MRIs to make sure there hasn't been any further degeneration.
I've had MRIs. I had a thoracic MRI, a lumbar MRI, and in the beginning a cervical MRI. So I've had the MRIs. And the wording is confusing to the layman, but they use the word moderate impingement, mild impingement. Well, impingement sounds like that
something's hinged, you know what I mean?
So, but they use the words like that, and I have neuropathy in both feet, which you don't talk about because it's just one of those things you live with. I thank God every day. I can stand upright, I can walk, I can move around, but my lateral stability is still, I have an odd gait. I used to be an athlete, I used to run. I mean, she knew me back then.
Yes.
But I've had this.
He would actually go for all the balls when you played tennis, whereas I, like some of them, just flat out refused.
Let it go. I know, you weren't even
It's one of those guys, you know what I mean?
So,
anyway.
But I had developed neuropathy 4 or 5 years before I had my knee surgery. So I thought, I can't, this is just one of those things you have to live with. Nobody knows what causes it, yada, yada. Well, when I was watching Michael's video this morning, he mentioned his nerve impingement again. And I thought, wait a minute, that word sounds familiar. And then I got to listening more, and he says, I have healed so much with autophagy by fasting, longer term fasting. Now, we all intermittent fast. That's the time from your last meal at night till when you break your fast at breakfast in the morning, or whatever time you do it. So we all fast intermittently like that. We recently tried to keep ours we eat between 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., 5 p.m.
10 and 5.
About between 10 and 5. So 5 o'clock is our last meal. And I was thinking, okay, well, that's intermittent fasting. But Michael, he went on and on about how autophagy can heal so many things we never realized before, because he's really studied up on it.
We knew the benefits of fasting, but both of us are
I like food.
Sorry.
I like my beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and some steaks.
And I'm 97 pounds. I'm like, I don't really think I'm going to be. No. If I want to eat, I'm going to eat. Okay, thanks.
I'm not going to watch her fast. But that got me to thinking. Michael mentioned nerves, one of his big problems, which he does not have problems with anymore.
Yeah, that really sparked
In my small civilian brain, I was thinking, he lost weight, so maybe that probably just made that go away. Well, I lost weight, and it didn't make my neuropathy go away. So now it was just like a light bulb moment. So I'm going to have to try to start fasting.
So we're going to keep you updated on that one.
I'm going to start with a 24-hour fast, and just to ease into it, I guess, because I've never tried it. Maybe I'll feel great. I don't know.
Yeah, you might want to go longer. You just have to see how you feel, and then just like you guys. Yeah. Just, see how long you can do it.
Right.
And Michael gave me this other idea too. And he said, because I wanted to know if you got stomach growling when you're fasting, because that's what happens. Well, you saw my little video on that. And if you didn't, check my channel. And it's where a guy shows you with an actual, cadaver, and then a diagram of how that noise is actually the feces.
It's waste going
your trans something or other.
Your transverse colon.
Yeah. So he said, no, I turned that into saying to myself, Michael, that is your body healing. It's telling you you're healing on its way to doing that. And he goes, I just turned it around in my head, and I went, that now is much easier to think about fasting.
And there's even a subtle message in there. He just turned it around in his head. You change the way you perceive something, And we learned a while back from some expert that I think
it was Dr. Chafee talking to that
yes.
magician.
Yeah, he said you change your perception of things. And he was a professional magician,
right?
But he was a philosophical guy. So you change your perception of things. Oh, my feet hurt so bad. Well, if you keep telling yourself that, you're telling your brain, well, this guy keeps saying his feet hurt.
That's what he wants.
That's what he wants. Well, let it hurt. And say, instead of asking your brain a better question, asking your brain a better question like, I wonder how I can flip the switch on this neuropathy. I wonder if there's a better way for me to treat myself. Right. Is there a better diet, a better exercise?
How do I fix that?
How do I fix that? Exactly.
Right.
Right.
We're going to try it. We're going to get back to you and give you the
she's not
update.
Gonna try it. I'm going to try it.
I know I can't.
This should be fun.
I'm just going to have hamburgers.
Right in front of me. She's going to cook right in front of me.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to have a steak.
I'm kidding. I'm a big boy. I think I can take it.
That's right.
I'll let you know.
I know. It's scary.
Yeah.
But it's not. Because on Carnivore, as we all know, it's not like you're fasting on standard American diet.
Right.
That's horrible. I don't know how people even do it.
Exactly.
And then you think about, again, Dr. Chafee and his friend who did 5 marathons back to back fasting.
In a week.
So you're like, okay, I understand there's training involved, but if that guy could do that, I should be able to do a day or so. Right. If Carrie Mann can do 8 days with Jeff DeProsperous, if Jeff DeProsperous can do 14 days and have chemo attached to him, good grief, we can do this.
But you know that the last thing I want to say about the last thing I want to say about Michael's video today is it reminded me of one of my my best New Year's resolution, and that's to capture fleeting thoughts. So if you have something go through your mind and you say, boy, I sure wonder what that would be like. That's
a reason for it.
And let it go. And then we say, oh, never mind, I can't do that. Or I wonder what it would be like to, I don't know, to take my wife to a new place, a new restaurant.
That's a good idea.
Except
we don't go to restaurants anymore because we like our steaks here better.
That's an example of a fleeting thought. Example of a fleeting thought. You might just, instead of just letting it go in one ear and out the other, theoretically, you just say, I want to capture those fleeting thoughts. And all that does is what we were just talking about. It opens up your mind to something like Michael mentioning the word nerve and healing. Yeah. And that's a fleeting thought that I captured today. Yep. So we will keep you posted. Yep. We're happy you stayed with us as long as you did. Yes. And, Sammy, who just walked in, our little dachshund, that's a long-haired dachshund. Yep. He's going to have a dental tomorrow. And he had a heart murmur since he was very little, and it's very common. But we got him when he was a puppy, so we know a little bit of his history. The deal is, when he had his other appointments with veterinarians, they told me it was like a 4 on the scale of 1 to 10. It's now a 2. So looks like it works for dogs full too. Carnivore, of course. And has been. No kibble. No kibble. Yeah. All right. So cool. Well, listen, friends, thanks for sitting through this for as long as it is. It's an exciting update, and we'll let you know about Dr. V in the future. Yes. And we're gonna stay on him. We're gonna stay on him. She's gonna send him some tactical texts to make sure that he's a beef butter, bacon, and eggs, buddy. Yep. All right. Thank you for watching. I'm so glad we had this. You took the time to watch this. Please check out Carnivore at 60 on YouTube. That's right. Today's a special day because I really wanted to thank him for his video. And Carnivore and More is my girlfriend Debbie, and she actually went through every single day of her 90 days, even went on a cruise. And through my warning, I was like, please, I know they're going to use seed oils. I can handle it. I won't do this. Yeah, well, watch that because it kind of mirrors what Carrie went through too. And you might learn something through that if you're kind of thinking of starting Carnivore and you go, what would those first days be like? Well, she takes you through every single one of them. And we'll put the links in the description below if you happen to be watching. And happy birthday to her husband, David, today. Yeah, so there you go. Alrighty. All right, friends, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Remember, please get out there, eat meat with the fat on it. Don't trim the fat. That's my new motto. Don't trim the fat. And eat meat, be the master. Have a great day. Thanks, Dr. Kiltz. Bye. See ya. Bye-bye.